I'm going to continue to layer that the floor. A little bit more warmth, a little bit more paint. I'm going to try to also see how doing this without that earpiece microphone. I would think my face is close enough that it will be fine without. I think it actually picked up a little too much of me and moisture in my mouth. This is a little richer here, a little warmer. This will help me. Want it to look like wood, which it's starting to do, and I need to draw a little bit better. I see the paw. I'm okay with this one. This is coming toward me. It looks to me like he's lifting this leg. I need to push this over a little, and I can't do that without doing a little negative painting here, what I would call negative painting. So this is pretty, it's showing up more yellow on the back of my phone than it is here as I look at it. But it's still got some yellow. It's definitely yellow. So let's see how this does. It's almost golden. So I don't want to lose some of this. And I'll paint back over it. Oh, wowee. Sorry about that. So sorry. I'm just taking that yellowish, I guess that's yellowish, over some of that. That's already there, just let it, a little bit of it come up. Sorry about moving this, but I gotta get different angles and stuff. Put a little bit of that color up in here. Now this is still going on pretty transparent, and I may have to get pretty opaque to cover up some of this. Behind him I need to lose, I think I've got that drawn out a little too much. So let's, I'm going to try now to, I'm not trying to match that, but let's see if we can get some thick paint, not a wash, me trying to match a color so I can put that over and it'll cover it. Sometimes to make things opaque, when you're working with acrylic paints that are, some of the acrylic paints are naturally transparent, more transparent than others. And you almost have to, well, you nearly have to just keep layering it over and over, but sometimes you have to mix it darker and then mix white with it, because white is the most, I'll say, opaque paint, titanium white. Now I don't want to do this where it's painted up to, but I definitely want to lose the drawing. I won't lose any charcoal, graphite rather, I guess I did. We'll lose that. I don't want this to look cartoony, or now I'm going over some of that white, which is fine because I'm going to paint it again. Go over it and over it and over it. More important that I get rid of any lines. Leave that little kind of see it in a little lighter spot. I don't want to cover everything. That's better. Still got to go over that a little bit more. A little heavier hand, a little thicker paint still to make sure that I cover that. So still transparent. Ooh. Always stepping back, get a little better view of it. Never had to do this before. I may end up even after this next session or after I finish this session, take an eraser and try to get that. I normally just paint over it, but I think I've got it too big, and if I take, I'm struggling to get this opaque enough to cover, and if I take white and go over that, I think its paw's too big. So we'll see how that works. We'll figure it out one way or the other. All I'm going to do is push the lights, push the darks, try to match values better, bring this out a little more. It's just a continued process, reshape, push down. But what you'll see, and I'm just going to do one little spot just so you see how this rolls. Behind his ear, right there, and you see how thick that's going on. Behind that ear. Whoops. I better get a little steadier with my hand here. It's very bright, very white. Whiter than other areas. So that's how I will start looking at places that are the brightest and really lay stuff on. Try not to do it everywhere because it's not white everywhere. It's easy to look at that and go, oh, it's white. Everywhere that I see that really white color, I'm going to put white. There's some spots that are definitely like that, and others that are not. And you just really have to really put that paint on thick. I don't guess you have to, but that's what I do. See if this is too bright. No, I got that pretty close. Pretty close. Again, knowing that it will dry a little darker. Whoa! Whoa! So, that was good that happened. So I'll show you how to fix it. Paper towel, squirt of water. Don't wait too long. And now the problem was, get myself in trouble, that underneath it was still wet too. And you notice what's happened. I got the white up, oops, get my finger away, but I picked up the paint that was underneath it, which is, all right, I'll just have to fix it a little bit later. So those highlights, a little much, I'll take and go back over them. And that's really what a lot of this is just making an attempt, going back, fixing it. And I'll struggle trying to get a lot of this, these values and things right. I knew this was going to be a little tougher. We'll get it. A little tougher. So what I did right then, just so you know, I'll reload. I have too much paint in my brush for what I'm wanting to do, so I rubbed it out, and I'm really wanting to what's called dry brush. A little bit here, dry brush, a little of that tone that's around her nose. And then I'll get a little pink, because that's really what it is. A little bit here, around those paws. Now I'm going to pick up a little more paint. And this is dry brushing, which means there's not much paint at all in my brush. And the reason I do that, and I could mix a lot and do this, but I just want there to be a hint of what I'm doing here. I really don't want that to be pure paint. Because it's really what's there. It's softer, it's a little fuzzy because of the fur. Oh, I forgot I got going crazy here. I gotta repaint that on. Get that one shaped a little better. This is a pretty decent challenge, actually, to try to get some of this painted back over, lose those lines. It's that paint's just so transparent. Let's see if I can do it here. Let's see. Probably should try the eraser, but problem's going to be is the eraser will probably take up that paint. So this I'm not worried about because there's a shadow. This will be a shadow, so I'll lose that. This one, can I get by with making that paw bigger? Maybe. I'm not hiding nothing from you all. These are the challenges. These are the challenges. Well, I don't want to make it much bigger, but I can live with that. I can live with that. Gotta lose that though. That shadow. What am I doing? I'm looking over here and I'm not watching what I'm doing. Shape of that ear comes down to here, it's down up here. And, you know, some of this again is going to be repaint, just the way it is. Repaint. Put more paint. Just have to load it up. Pausing. Make sure I'm not bringing that, maybe bringing it down too far. It's tough, because that shadow comes, I'll probably cut back up into that with the shadow, but I gotta get that ear bigger. I need that ear bigger, and it's not that cool. She's got a little warmth in her. That's a tough, I'm telling you, these are some tough values to try to get, temperatures to try to get colors to match, because it's so subtle, the change right there. Killing me. Probably wrong, but that's the problem with that. If I turn that upside down to get that picture upside down, then the picture is going to fix itself, which I didn't want. I want it to be upside down. What are you going to do? What to do? That ear definitely comes down. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a challenge, no doubt about it. We'll get her though. We'll get her eventually. We're gonna get it, but it's gonna be earned. It's definitely gonna be earned by us. You know, this is another example, and this is just how I do it, and it actually makes it challenging the way I do it. I don't mix up a big pile of that color paint and that color paint and that color paint. I just have to keep remixing. And the tough part about that is to match some colors, but there's so many different things going on here. So many different colors and things that I'm okay that I have to redo it. And this right here is really sharp. a little spot. See, it comes around the eye. There's a little spot right there. And I'm going to have to, when I get all this done, I'm going to have to make sure that little dark right above the eyelid kind of droops down, which makes it cute. We'll go ahead and get an attempt at where that the white of that eye is, and this is pure white. I'll leave it like that for now. I've got a little large. That's the basic shape, and then I'll cut. Once that white dries, it's easier for me to take a color down here and cut that point, make it sharper. Negatively paint that a little bit more. Definitely not at a point where I'm ready to do any whiskers and stuff, but for some reason I felt the need to put a little hint there. Long way from there. I mean, those would be the last steps, right? That's the icing on the cake. Well, that was heinous. It was actually an ugly stroke. Ugly stroke. Got it too tall. I'm gonna come back. Come back. I'll have to repaint that a little bit better. Gosh, I knew this was going to be tough, and I know at a glance it's probably, this looks easier than the last painting I did, but there are just some, the shapes are not bad at all, right? They're not hard to get. But there's so much going on here, just subtle stuff. It's crazy. It is crazy. A little dark, a little dark. Just a little bit dark. I got this over too far. This comes back over into there. A little bit more. It's a fun struggle. I'm trying to tell myself at least that it's fun. It's a fun struggle. It's challenging. This stuff's not easy. What I'm trying to do, you can kind of see what I'm doing. I don't like to get detailed too much. I don't like to put little individual hairs and stuff. So I'm taking this brush and right on that transition, there is obviously a hint that it's not a hard line. It's hair, right? It's fur. And again, this is not like I'm nailing this stuff and I'm never, I'm not going to come back to it. I know when I put these things down, I'm going to have to, I may even screw them up. I'm going to just repaint them and repaint them and repaint them. Make it a little darker. Yeah, darker. Might be a lot of darker. Let's see. Trying to sneak up on these. I want to, as always, reserve the ability to go a little bit darker. A lot of dry brushing, a little bit of paint, not much water, so it's softer. This is how I do it with acrylics. A lot of people, a lot of artists that do acrylics struggle, and I've never understood it. I guess I understand it. I've never had the problem. They struggle to get soft edges, and I actually did a course online on wetcanvas.com one time. I was asked that there's an acrylic forum. And every time I'd post a painting, people would go, "Oh my gosh, how do you get them so soft?" Because most acrylic artists, their paintings are more like a watercolorist, because you use water to dilute the paint. And what's happening is they're putting, I don't mean to say too much water, because that's really what they're built for, but they're putting a lot more water in it than I do. And if you put a lot of water in it, you get that, or some water, you get a harder edge. The brush, the water comes out of the brush. The paint comes out of the brush a lot smoother, and the stroke ends up with a hard edge, right? Well, if you don't use much water, if I pick up pure paint, it gets softer. Now this is as slick as it can be, and you can still scumble and make it. Well, on the canvas, it's much easier to get soft edge because you got the tooth of the canvas. So anyway, that's how I do it. I just don't. There's times I don't have a lot of paint in my brush, which is key. And there's times I don't have a lot of water. And then there's times you see back here, right? You see these areas here. Well, that's obviously got water in it. And that's how most acrylic artists paint. Just yapping. This is darker up in here. And I think I need to push that a little more. Light here, dark back here. Let me pull this just for a second so you see what I'm talking about. That's dark background. I need this darker so it frames in better, and that's a bit of a challenge. And I will try to do it with sneaking up on it again with washes, not trying to paint over that. I want this to show through, but I want to go over it with a real thinner, a little more blue in it, a little more blue, because I want it to be darker. Now I may have it too dark. Let's see. I'm gonna go real. I'm gonna apologize for a second. I'm gonna pull this back so it gets a little higher. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm sorry, it's I'll just do this. I hope it didn't make you all sick. Just so you can kind of see. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Well, it's not kind of, it is what I'm doing. So that is definitely where I need it to be. Challenging to get that angle right. Get that angle right. Let's do it this way, which I'll have to think angles here, but I need to. I don't want it as dark. So I'm going to take some of the paint, wipe it out of my brush, and try not to. Gosh, let me do it this way. My angle's probably wrong. That's better. Again, it'll end up okay, I think. Now I'm going to take, just for interest's sake, a little streak in the floor while I've got this color on here. Just a few little spots. It's kind of a scrub there. Kind of working a little bit. I may have it the wrong angle, but it's okay. Boards go weird in the floor, or green rather. Like this. Get carried away, John. Get carried away. Starting to look better. I don't have those angles quite right. Maybe one or so I need to get rid of there. A little bit of a wet paper towel. Go over it a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, once that dries, I'm gonna have to hit that a little bit better with some thicker paint, not that thin stuff I just did. It's coming together, it's starting to shape up. Let's see, but you see that there's areas I know are wrong, there's values I know are wrong here and here, but I just kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm gonna go, this is pretty daggone dark, pretty dark, but around that eye it's not as dark as I have it though. But I want to shape this eye. Shape this eye a little bit better. That's negatively painting that. I knew when I put that white down, I had the shape wrong, and it's still off a little. And I knew that painting it like that was going to be easier for me than to just take the white up and keep, doing that. A little tick of highlight. I'll put some warmth in that eye too, and it'll make it look nicer. I'm gonna lighten a little then. Right now, I think that's a good stopping point. So we'll just kill it for the moment.